This is Mel Pine. Welcome to the From the Pure Land podcast. This is the second podcast officially. The first one kind of became a podcast inadvertently, and I decided, well, we'll keep this going. I have a Substack blog called From the Pure Land. So this is the From the Pure Land podcast. And today we're going to do the touching the earth meditation, or the five touchings meditation. It's a powerful one. If you are alone and you'd like to do this, I'd suggest getting in touch with a friend and letting them know that in an hour or so you may want to give them a call. It can be emotional for some people. You might want to have someone to chat with afterwards. I expect it to take almost an hour. You'll want to be comfortable and uninterrupted. If you're willing and physically able, you'll go during this meditation from a sitting position to standing and then to lying prone, and then standing and lying prone, a total of 5 times of standing and lying prone. Comfort is the most important thing, so you can remain seated or in another position of your choice and just imagine yourself making these movements. It's called touching the earth, so you might want to do this outdoors if the climate is suitable and you've got a private spot available. You probably don't want to be interrupted. And if you're indoors, the floor or the rug will represent the earth. Get a chair ready or a meditation cushion. You'll want maybe a pillow for your head, possibly a blanket, whatever you'll need to sit and lie face down. Sit, stand, and lie face down as comfortably as possible for a few minutes at a time. If you're not ready, you might pause this podcast and get things together, and then return when you're ready to begin. Sit comfortably in your usual meditative position, whatever that is, eyes open or closed. And a lot of people begin by just focusing on their breathing. You might prefer another anchor, like focusing on sound, focusing on some spot in your body, maybe where your feet touch the ground, or something else comes in contact with something solid. And what you're aiming to do is rest in awareness, what we call resting in awareness. You'll start with awareness of your breathing or other bodily sensations. And that'll get you in touch with your awareness. You want to sort of be aware of your awareness. Allow any thoughts to come and go without either rejecting them or following after them. If you want to take a moment, you can mentally say the Buddhist refuge prayer or a mantra. If you're not a Buddhist, you might recite a short prayer in your faith or a poem connecting you to the oneness. I'll give you a moment. And I'll ring the bell 3 times to begin the formal meditation. Body, speech, and mind in perfect oneness, I send my heart along with the sound of this bell. May the hearers awaken from forgetfulness and transcend all sorrow. When you're ready, if you're able, I'd like you to rise gently to a standing position with your legs slightly apart. You're standing in a position of stability, like a mature tree. Your roots are deep in the earth, reaching up through your feet, legs, and body. You know that your limbs or your tree branches can withstand storms and strong winds, just like a mature tree in the forest. Bring to mind your mother and father. This is your genetic mother and father, the people whose essence, physical essence, circulates continuously to every cell in your body. If you don't know who they are, imagine them. You'll have another opportunity to thank and connect with non-blood ancestors. Form a mental image of your mother and father. Try to see their faces when you were a small child. Your parents transmitted more to you than physical characteristics. They conveyed a spirit. Whether you knew them or not, there's something of them within you. And they each had parents. So imagine your 4 grandparents. Maybe you knew them, maybe you didn't. Imagine them if you didn't, or if you did, or if you do, if they're still alive. Each of them dealt with life's tribulations to convey their genes and spirit to your parents. Your 8 great grandparents similarly did whatever they needed to do to give birth to and raise your grandparents. Can your imagination take you further back? Another generation, another generation, another generation. The numbers of your ancestors continue to grow with each generation. And try to follow it all the way back in your imagination to the beginning of beginningless time. Feel your connection to all of those ancestors and thank them for the contributions they made to who you are. When you're ready, gently lower yourself to a prone position. Your abdomen and extended limbs on the ground. In other words, if you can comfortably do it, your legs and arms are extended, and your head could be resting on a pillow as comfortably as possible. Although your parents did their best to convey love and support, they weren't always able to do it skillfully. They had their own life tribulations, their own sufferings, their own impurities, kleshas that got in the way. You didn't always feel their love. They failed sometimes in ways they were hoping to direct you. And it was similar with their parents and the parents before them, and so on, back to the beginning of beginningless time. As you lie prone, like a log in the forest, you allow any negative emotions about your blood ancestry to dissolve into the earth and become absorbed into the biosphere. When you're ready, Rise gently to a standing position, again with your legs slightly apart, standing like a mature tree, roots deep in the earth, reaching up through your feet, legs, and body. Your limbs can withstand storms and strong winds, like the branches of a tree. Now we're expressing gratitude or aware of our gratitude to our spiritual ancestors. So bring to mind any teachers, ministers, adoptive parents, foster parents, a grandparent, an uncle, aunt, who through love taught you the values by which you live. Each of them had spiritual teachers of their own. And those teachers all stretch back to such seminal figures as the Buddha, Jesus, Mother Mary, Machi Labdrön, or maybe it's a philosopher, writer, or political leader whom you see as a kind of a spiritual historical root or roots. In gratitude, feel your connection to all the teachers in that chain or lineage. Thank them for their contributions to who you have become. Gently lower yourself to a prone position, your abdomen and extended limbs on the ground, your head on a pillow or as comfortable as possible. Your human teachers and those before them were not fully enlightened Buddhas or embodiments of Jesus. Along with their Buddha nature and holiness, they had mental states that sometimes manifested in unwholesome actions. Some of them may have harmed you and others. As you lie prone, like a log in the forest, allow any negative emotions about your teachers and their impurities to dissolve into the earth and become absorbed into the biosphere. When you're ready, rise gently to a standing position, standing like a mature tree, roots deep in the earth, reaching up through your feet, legs, and body. You're able to withstand whatever storms and strong winds might come. In addition to blood ancestors and spiritual ancestors, we have land ancestors. The people who lived and labored before you, before us, on the land we call home. Imagine the workers who built your community's structures, roads, and bridges. The farmers who may have plowed the fields or tended the herds before them. And the indigenous people before the farmers or before the immigrant farmers. Chain of people who walked here, worked here, and then extend out to your nation. Think of the artists, musicians, physicians, scientists, civic leaders, freedom fighters who contributed to the culture that you now live in. Either physically or mentally bow to them in gratitude and commit to carry on their spirit. Gently lower yourself to the prone position. Again, your abdomen and limbs on the ground, your head on a pillow. Some of those who came before you engaged in hateful and violent acts. Your land's leaders, the settlers. Some may have contributed to the oppression of minorities, women, and anyone they identified as other. They each inherited their unwholesome mental states from their forebears, and their hearts were not open to a spiritual understanding of love. As you lie prone like a log in the forest, Allow any negative emotions about unwholesome political and civic leaders to dissolve into the earth and become absorbed into the biosphere. When you're ready, rise gently to that standing position with your legs slightly apart. A mature tree with roots deep in the earth, able to withstand whatever weather comes. You're aware of all the love, compassion, and guidance that you receive from your blood, land, and spiritual ancestors. And you're ready to channel that to your loved ones, your family and closest friends. Bring them into your mind, into your meditation space. You have not always been able to show them the love that you feel, but you know how deeply interconnected you are with them. Knowing what words to use and actions to carry out to be genuinely loving is sometimes a difficult chore. Sometimes you make the best decision you can about what to say and what to do. And you commit now to making a conscious effort to make the best choices you know how to make. Gently lower yourself to the prone position, your abdomen and limbs on the ground. your head on a pillow. Make yourself as comfortable as you can. With your loved ones, you have not always received back the love you deserve. Or maybe there's a loved one who's difficult to reach, difficult to help, perhaps because of mental illness or addiction or mood or just the way that person is. Maybe a relative you've been close to has withdrawn for unknown reasons. Or maybe you've withdrawn. In today's climate, it's increasingly possible that political or religious differences have gotten in the way. As you lay prone like a log in the forest, allow any despair over conflicts or walls between you and your loved ones, allow them to dissolve into the earth and become absorbed into the biosphere. When you're ready, rise gently to that standing position. You want to be stable, have a sense of stability. You are that mature tree in the forest. You can withstand storms and strong winds. And this one is going to be the last one and difficult for many of you because I'm asking you to bring to mind those who have harmed you, those who have harmed you, those that you bear resentments toward. Using all of the strength and positive energy that you've absorbed from your ancestors, teachers, and loved ones. Extend your love to those who have harmed you. You understand that their actions grew out of harm done to them and maybe misperceptions about you. Their actions grew out of their own confusion, ignorance, kleshas, their own suffering. You sincerely wish them relief from their suffering. When you're ready, gently lower yourself to a prone position. For the last time, your abdomen and extended limbs on the ground, your head as comfortable as you can make it. As you lie prone, like a log in the forest, you release any suffering and sorrow that others have caused you, and release any resentments that you bear toward others into the earth to become absorbed into the biosphere. When you're ready, I'd suggest rolling onto your back or taking some other restful position. I'd like to give you a few moments to rest in awareness. Please don't try to prevent thoughts from coming, but don't hang on to any thoughts as they do. Let them come, let them go. In a moment, I'll ring the bell 3 times to indicate the end of this meditation and this podcast. Once I do, you might remain lying in your relaxed position. You might listen to some soothing music. Whatever you can do to relax and refrain from maybe obsessing over anything that came up for you. Let it go. And finally, a brief reading. This is a prayer called the Four Immeasurables, immeasurable aspirations, wishes for all beings. And when we say all beings, don't forget that includes you, it includes me, it includes literally all beings. You're part of it. This is as translated by Anam Thubten Rinpoche. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings never be separated from joy that knows no suffering. May all beings abide in equanimity, free from bias and hatred.